Okay, guys, it's Sunday morning now. We've had the 7-bone chuck roast on with the dry rub in the fridge for all night. I took it out about 7 o'clock, letting it start to come up to room temperature. You never want to put really cold meat onto a smoker unless it's of the fowl variety, like chicken, turkey, duck. You know, if it flies, you wanna put it on cold. If it's not, you want to bring it up to at least room temperature. It helps the coldness, or it helps the cooking and doesn't take as long. So, and I told you yesterday that my wrapping skills wasn't the best, so now you're about to see it. Anyway, let's just get rid of that rack. Unwrapping this, it's a mess. I should just get a knife and just cut it, but I've already started, so I might as well finish. So this is the beautiful, oh, it's falling apart. Looks like I might have to cut it and cook it into 2 sections, but this is the beautiful brisket. As you can see, it already took on some coloring and from the rub. I might add some rub in the areas that it's pulling apart, but I have my smoker outside. It's already set up for 250. So my lovely partner in crime, Phyllis, will be following me, and I will show you how I have the smoker set up, and we'll get it on the smoke. Okay, so just earlier I called it a brisket, but it's actually a 7-bone chuck roast. And Phyllis, if you could come in. If you can see, if this was turned around, you'd see right here that it would be shaped as a 7 if it was on the other side of it. So that's why it's called the 7-bone chuck roast, because it's shaped as a 7, not because it has 7 bones. It actually only has 3 bones. Back up. This is my beast of a smoker. It's a gas grill, gas cooker. This is the smoke chamber, or it can also be a barbecue chamber with a adjustable tray, so I can adjust the heat when I'm cold barbecuing. And this is my smoking chamber. Right now, it's just at like 245, but I just started the coals, so it'll come up to temp pretty good. And I'm putting the smoker on. I'm trying to keep it together if I can, and I don't think I'm going to be able to. So I'll probably be cooking this into 2 separate, this as a separate roast, because there's a slight membrane right into here, if you can see it. It's very thin. It won't take nothing. Get a paring knife, cut that down, and then I'll just be cooking 2 separate roasts. But it still all come out good. It's just I got to put 2 things instead of 1. I have a water bottle that I filled up with apple juice that'll come out about when I check the heat, adjust the coals. I'll spritz it with apple juice, because the moisture is what's going to help keep the smoke going into the meat. So when we're done, it's going to have a nice smoke ring. It's probably about 9 o'clock about now, so I'll cook it till 1, and then I'll cook it just like it is till 1, and then I'll wrap it in aluminum foil, add a little bit of that apple juice, maybe some soda. Last time I did soda and it turned out phenomenal. And wrap it in aluminum foil, and I'll cook it for another 4 hours. So about 5 o'clock we'll be eating some wonderful, wonderful chuck roast. You slap your mama good. Bye bye. Okay guys, we're at like 250. But I forgot to add the smoke. Today I'm starting off with cherry. It'll give it a nice subtle, won't be a strong flavor, but it'll give it a nice subtle sweetness. And we just had my birthday celebration about last weekend, and some really good friends of mine gave me a bag of apple wood. So I'll be breaking out the apple wood, because as you can see, cherry, she's about gone. So we're going to open it up. I'm gonna add some of the cherry wood right there onto the coals. As you can see, the coals are starting to look very nice. So we add this. onto the coals, let that smoke up, it'll start flaming. The smoke will go a little bit white, but it won't stay white that long, and then it just turn into this like blue haze that you see now, and that's the kind of smoke that you want. You don't want a really white smoke. If you get into white smoke, normally it means that you're starving your fire for air, and you never want to do that because it adds a kind of a harsh taste to your meats. And my trusty thumper, it's a piece of myrtle, crepe myrtle, because these things get hot, and I just adjust the vent a little bit, about halfway, because right now I'm at 250. It's going to want to try to climb up to about 300. I'm going to try to keep it from doing that by starving it a little bit of the air. As long as it goes white or to a blue tinge in a few minutes, I should be okay. If not, I'll have to open the vent up again, let it go to a blue tinge, and then I'll start closing it down to get to 300. I did add some extra rub, and I did what the meat wanted me to do. I cut it, so now I'm cooking 2 separate roasts. Hey, just got choked out by the smoke. As you can see, there's a little bit of tinge of blood coming out of the bone marrow already. So that's a good sign. That means everything's starting to heat up and everything's starting to cook. But if it would have came out straight out of the fridge, this thing would have been at like 32 degrees. You know, if you keep your fridge at 32 degrees. We keep ours a little colder because, hey, we like cold. But so it would have taken even longer to start that process, which means that instead of eating at 5 o'clock, we'd be thinking we'd be eating at 5 o'clock, but it'd be more like 6, 7, maybe even 8 o'clock. So you always bring up your meats to room temperature unless it's a poultry or a fowl. Again, if it flies, it has to be refrigerated. Okay, so check back with me. We'll be following this up all day. Bye. Later, Gator. All right, here's my charcoal bin. Grab a couple of good-sized handfuls. Place them down in there. Place them down in there. About one more. Place them down in there. Grab some cherry wood. Add it to the potty. Woo. Okay, close that. I got the vent open all the way, so that should catch fairly quick. See, temperature fell down below 200, but we should be okay on that. I'll be checking in. Bye. Okay, so here we are. As you can tell, we're about 275, which is pretty good. It's not too bad, considering. They're looking gorgeous. I'm about to spritz them down for the first time. And this is just straight apple juice. Get them nice and wet. Try to keep the handle on. Get it nice and wet. I'll probably turn them. Oh yeah, it's looking just like a nice steak. There we go. Look at that, looking gorgeous. Get it spritzed down, get it nice and wet. Close this down. Grab Thumper here, because I'm going to attend to the fire. I'm going to open the vents up. Look at it. Okay, we're back. It's 11:19. We're down to 225, which is okay. That's where we want to be. 225, 250. Oh, these are looking so good. These are looking so good. Do the flip. Do a turn. I'm going to back them out. Right in there is where the heat source is coming out. I'm going to back them out a little bit. Oh, look at all that juice. Do the flip. Do the turn. And we do the splits. Okay, that's that. Here we come, we look at a fire. And they're looking good. Knock off some of the dust. Handfuls of charcoal. Well, after this, it'd be time to break out the chair. Time to break out the apple. Cause cherry, cherry. Okay, well, let that come up, open up the vent, let the heat come back up, and then we see you in about an hour. Bye bye.